Isaac Newton. You hear the name, and you probably think of genius, right? Gravity, an apple falling from a tree, the guy who basically invented modern science. But what if I told you the man we think we know, the father of the Enlightenment, was living a secret life, one filled with obsessions that would have absolutely shocked everyone around him? So let's pull back that curtain and really dig in.
You know, we all know the story. It's neat, it's tidy, an apple falls, Newton has a flash of brilliance, and boom! The law of universal gravitation is born. It's the perfect legend for a scientific hero. But is that really all there is to it? Or does that simple story hide a much more complicated and way more interesting truth about the man himself?
And here it is, the legend in his own words, well, recorded by an acquaintance, William Stukeley. Newton himself loved to tell this story, sitting under that apple tree, just wondering, why does stuff always fall down? Why not sideways or up? It's that classic aha moment, and it's totally shaped his public image for centuries.
And that public image, I mean, it is truly monumental. Let's just do a quick run-through of the sheer scale of his official world-changing work, the stuff that made him, well, Newton.
Just look at this list. It is almost unbelievable. He developed calculus. He totally changed our understanding of light and color. He invented a whole new kind of telescope. And oh yeah, he also laid down the fundamental laws of motion and universal gravitation. I mean, any one of these would be a lifetime achievement for basically anyone else. For Newton, it was just what he did. And the centerpiece of it all is this book, the Principia. You have to understand, this wasn't just a science book. For a couple of centuries, this book was physics. It was the operating manual for the universe, a single, elegant mathematical system that could explain everything from that falling apple to the orbits of the planets. It was an absolute revolution. But see, that's where the story usually stops. And that's exactly where we're going to start digging deeper. Because the incredibly rational, orderly mind that wrote the Principia was also obsessed with things that were, well, anything but. Now, check this out. This is a breakdown of what was actually in Newton's personal library. Look closely. Physics, the field he completely redefined, it's only 3% of his books. But theology and alchemy, together, that's over a third of his entire collection. This was not some casual hobby, folks. This was a deep, driving obsession.
The famous economist John Maynard Keynes, who actually bought and studied Newton's private papers, put it just perfectly. This quote completely reframes how we should see him. Newton wasn't just the first modern scientist, he was also, in many ways, the last of the ancient magicians.
So, let's meet this other Newton, the alchemist, the religious heretic, the guy who was secretly hunting for ancient, hidden knowledge.
The details here are just staggering. He wrote an estimated 1 million words on alchemy, trying to decode secret formulas from ancient texts. And his religious beliefs, they were just as radical. He secretly rejected the Holy Trinity, a central belief of Christianity, because he thought it was a form of idol worship. He had to hide this his entire life. If he'd been found out, it would have been the end of his career, period. And if you think, okay, scientist and secret magician, I've got it. Hold on, because his story takes another wild turn. Late in life, Newton took on a completely different secret identity, one that had nothing to do with science or magic, and everything to do with crime. So in 1696, he packs up and moves to London to become the warden of the Royal Mint. Now this was supposed to be a cushy, do-nothing job, kind of a retirement gift for a national hero. But Isaac Newton did not do nothing. He turned his ferocious intellect to a very real problem: counterfeit money. And the problem was huge. He estimated that a full 20%, that's 1 in every 5 coins in England, was a fake. The entire national economy was on the brink, and Newton took it as a personal challenge. And this is where it gets crazy. This is what he did. He didn't just write memos. He put on disguises and went undercover into the criminal underworld of London, hanging out in sketchy bars to gather evidence himself. He personally interrogated over 100 suspects, and he was absolutely ruthless, successfully prosecuting 28 counterfeiters for high treason, which, by the way, was a crime punishable by being publicly hanged, drawn, and quartered. So how do we put all these pieces together? The brilliant scientist, the secret alchemist, the toughest nails crime fighter. This is the real challenge when you try and understand who Isaac Newton actually was. I mean, look at this. It's like two different people. On one hand, you have the public scientist, the logical mind that gave us the laws of the cosmos. And on the other, you have this private mystic, an obsessive alchemist, a secret heretic, and later, a relentless detective. But they weren't two people. It was all him.
Maybe Newton himself gave us the key. After everything he accomplished, he said he felt like just a kid on the beach who'd found a few cool-looking seashells, while this great ocean of truth was still out there, totally unexplored. For him, science, God, and magic weren't separate things. They were all just parts of that same ocean.
And that brings us to the big takeaway here. We love our simple myths about genius, don't we? The apple, the eureka moment. But what the story of Isaac Newton shows us is that the reality is always so much messier, so much weirder, and honestly, so much more human. It really makes you wonder, how many of our other heroes have a secret life we've just never bothered to look for?